Am I the evil for not sticking up for my grandmother after my wife told her to fuck off out of her hospital room? About 3 weeks ago, my wife, 33, went into premature labor with our daughter at 31 weeks. It was entirely unexpected, and both my wife and our daughter had a horrible time, and it became quite dangerous for the both of them. My wife became pre-eclamptic among other serious complications, and for the first week we weren't even sure if either my wife or our daughter would make it. Luckily, they both survived, but our daughter is still in the NICU after 3 weeks and probably will be in for another 3. And my wife is still in the hospital as well. It has been a horrible struggle for my wife. Before this, she was a very healthy and active person, and even during most of her pregnancy, she was able to maintain a somewhat active lifestyle. But because of the trauma her body went through, she is basically starting back from square one and hasn't even been able to hold our daughter yet. My wife has had a lot of struggles so far with her birth trauma and feels so confused and hurt by her experience. She told me that she feels betrayed by her own body, and even in some of her weakest moments, she even said she regretted getting pregnant entirely because of how much she has suffered. And she is so worried she'll never be the person she was again. She feels horrible for having these feelings, but I and multiple mental health professionals have been working to help and support her through this. We finally have reached a point where we can receive visitors. Her family lives close, but my family lives 3 states away and have been awaiting the chance to meet the baby and check in on my wife. My parents and grandparents flew down, and I warned my family beforehand that my wife and daughter are still at very fragile stages and to be patient. When I brought them in to see my wife, my grandmother immediately went and wanted to talk to her about the birth and her experience. My wife told her that it was one of the worst experiences of her life, and my grandmother responded by telling her that the worst is yet to come, and that struggling is what being a mother is about. My wife got very upset over this comment and started screaming at her to fuck off and get the fuck out. I had never seen my wife like this, and I could tell she was feeling extremely stressed, and I quickly escorted my family out. I told them it would be best if they left for now, and we could talk later as not to cause even more stress on my wife. My family said they were appalled by my wife's behavior and me for not defending my grandmother. But at the end of the day, I feel that it is my responsibility to be my wife's advocator all of the time, but especially now. It has become a bit of a tension in my extended side of the family, however, but I haven't told my wife about it because I don't want to stress her out, and I plan to deal with this alone entirely. Should I apologize on my wife's behalf? If I am the a-hole, I'll own up to it, but I don't see my wife as an a-hole at all. Now for the top comments. Here's a comment from their all-night shade. Should I apologize on my wife's behalf? No. They had one job, but your grandmother just had to swoop in with that outdated mentality and tell a woman who's gone through hell and back the worst is yet to come, and that struggling is what being a mother is about. Who the hell tells someone in your wife's position that? Not the evil, but you will be if you apologize to them for their appalling behavior. Here's a comment from Music with Rocks In. The baby barely made it. No part of parenting is worse than when your kid is in serious danger. None of it. Hopefully that is as close as you will ever come to losing your baby, and thus parenting will never get worse. Only a monster would say differently. Grandma was so swept up in being all-knowing and looking down on you all that she couldn't see the tragedy in front of her. Here's a comment from Cupid Mellow 99. Yep, Grandma was totally apathetic. His wife and baby almost died. She's had kids of her own. She should know that even the easiest birds aren't sunshine and rainbows. Opie is 100% not the a-hole, and honestly I think he should keep this entire family away from his wife and the baby for the next few months. She needs time to heal from this trauma and needs people who will love her and support her. Opie, you're doing great being there for your wife. Don't let your family near her again anytime soon. Next story. Am I the a-hole for demanding my girlfriend to change her dress for a wedding? This happened during this weekend. Me being in my early 30s and my girlfriend in her late 20s. I was invited to a wedding ceremony of a colleague and could bring someone with me. I asked my girlfriend that I've been dating for a year if she would like to join me, and she was really happy because she apparently loves weddings. Since we don't live together, I drove to pick her up so we'd have some time to spare before the ceremony. As she comes out, she looks really beautiful and has obviously put in time to fix her hair and makeup. She's also wearing an off-white dress that was rather ornate. As she got in, I told her that she looked stunning, but I asked if she could change a different colored dress for the ceremony. I'm not one for etiquette by far, but one of the few things I have heard everywhere is that you should not wear a white dress to a wedding unless you're the bride. She became pretty upset and wanted to know what was wrong with her dress. I said that it would be inappropriate to wear a white or off-white dress unless you're the bride, and that it's like wedding law or something. Trying to be lighthearted about it, she rolled her eyes and said that it was an outdated tradition about women and virginity, and that when her friends got married everyone wore white and that it's not a big thing anymore. I told her that I don't know what the dress code is for this ceremony, but since it's not saying all white clothes, I still thought she could change to another color but white or almost white because my colleague was getting married and we had no idea how she felt about it. My girlfriend became really upset and told me that I was trying to control what she was wearing and that it was abusive, which honestly made me really upset and hurt. I said something along the lines of, "Fuck, well, you shouldn't go to a wedding with an abuser then." And then I told her to fuck off out of my car. She began to cry and wanted to apologize and give me a hug, but I just told her to get out, which she did. Edit. To clarify, we never left the driveway by her home. I did not drop her off in the middle of nowhere or anything like that. I drove off and she called and texted me a bunch. I answered, "I don't want to talk right now," and then turned my phone off and attended the ceremony. The bride was the only one that was wearing white, so I feel as if my gut feeling was the right one. When I got home, my phone had blown up by text from her and her best friend saying that I was being inconsiderate and controlling and should apologize for my behavior. I vented to a few friends, most of them agreeing with me, but some have said that it was an asshole thing to tell her that she could not wear her dress because it had nothing to do with me. I feel as if I was in the right since it was my colleague's wedding and it was better to be safe than sorry. But I'm also not sure if I was being an asshole about the situation. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Update. I never expected this thread to get this many replies. I am incredibly thankful for all of you that have reached out and commented, and I really appreciate that you've taken the time to tell me. My girlfriend found out about the thread, don't know if she knew my handle or just found it, and we talked over the phone. She apologized and I apologized, and it was a pretty good talk. She asked if she could come over and I said no and that it would be best for us to go our separate ways. She got upset and asked why I wouldn't even try to work it out. I basically just said goodbye and then she said my dick was small, which actually made me laugh after what had been a pretty mature conversation. Then she hung up. I'm pretty sad about it. Surely made me feel happy, but as many of you have commented, if this was our first disagreement and she called me abusive, how would future disagreements look? I was hurt, but if she did think I was being abusive, it would be the right thing to do. And if she did not think I was being abusive and said it anyways, I think things worked out for the best for both of us. Again, thank you all, and I will keep trying to respond to all of you. But there are a lot of messages, but I read through them all. Now for the top comments. Here's a comment from Mother of Dogs 3. Not the a-hole. Your girlfriend should have known better. Unless you know the couple and it's a request, you don't wear white. She also overreacted and you did the right thing by asking her to not go and to get out of your car. Here's a comment from Tiablulu. She overreacted because she 100% knew the rule. Here's a comment from Spark Axolot. Yeah, the only way her attitude makes sense is if she's an attention seeker, for not saying something else, or if she was testing OP somehow. Boundaries, or when inevitably someone in the wedding party asked her to leave to see how OP would react. Here's another comment. I wonder if she's met and dislikes co-worker. This seems like a pretty deliberate snob.